Hey, and welcome back. We're going to go grave robbing with Raziel today. We're looking for a way to get out of the spectral realm since Raziel had his conduit privileges revoked by the Elder God. As always, we've got the coin, and the coin is going to tell us how we're going to play today. If it's Raziel, we'll play the game more or less straight. We'll eat when we're hungry, we'll fight when we need to, and we'll try to skip most of the rest of it. But if it's Kain, we're going to feed on everybody we possibly can, do every fight we possibly can, and enter a cheat code. So let's do it. Today, it's Raziel. Okay, so that means we're going to play it mostly straight. We'll just go through, we'll skip the combat that we can skip, and we'll see if we can find a way out of the spectral realm and find out just how long we've been down there. Let's get started. We're in the cemetery. Which cemetery? Well, we'll find out.
There had to be a way to escape the spirit world without the help my master was pleased to deny me. Only in the material realm would I have a chance to seek my destiny, or change it.
All the Sluagh just chilling until until I come along. And then Raziel happened. So I would say, in Defiance, the Sluagh, just your rank and file Sluagh, are actually kind of back to the same level as easy as they were in Soul Reaver 1. The complication there is, of course, when they come in packs. They were kind of tough in Soul Reaver 2. They had a little bit more... Ooh, yeah, powered up Reaver. They had a little bit more... Oh, Cannibal Sluagh, look at that. They were definitely hardier and hit harder in Soul Reaver 2 than I see them in the other games. But one thing that we didn't talk about is you see the Flash and the Reaver there. Once you get the Reaver gauge powered up all the way, the Reaver will be stronger for a short period of time, so long as you don't use a Reaver spell. Alrighty. That's that sorted then. Let's go. Oh, these guys. They do call them lesser shades for a reason. Anyone else want some? Oh, there you are. Yeah, I'd hide from me too. Another longtime fan nitpick here. I actually like the way Raziel phases through bars better in Soul Reaver 1 and 2 than I do in Defiance. He just kind of steps through here, where in Soul Reaver 1 and 2, he kind of does this T-pose through them almost, which I think kind of makes it a little bit cooler, but again, little fan nitpick there.
In this crypt, I discovered ethereal gases rising from the mouldering corpse within. As I neared, I felt a distinct spiritual pull, and the closer I approached, the more that pull intensified.
If I was 10, I feel like I could make a really good joke about feeling a strong pull towards ethereal gases. But I'm a grown-ass man, okay? time to go grave robbing.
In the end, it was not difficult. I projected myself down into that tomb and found myself reborn into the material world. It was a loathsome vessel, but with an effort of will, that too could change.
Okay, I cannot overstate how cool of an idea this is, right? And if I remember correctly, I think this was the intention from the very first Soul Reaver. Just mechanically, it was very, very difficult to find a way to make that work on the PlayStation 1. But chill out, Raziel, we're talking here. I love idle animations. But I think it's really, really cool, one, from a story perspective, that Raziel has figured out a way to do this, and two, it's just such a cool animation. So conceptually, just amazing, amazing stuff.
These gargoyles quickened as I drew near, triggering the door to close. I would need to find some means of approaching the door without being observed.
Yeah, so they're slightly less, these guys are slightly less inconvenient than the eyes in Soul Reaver 2. But now that we're back in the material world, let's go break some things. Starting with these guys. One thing I do really like about Defiance is the distinct visual, like, even though Kain and Raziel feel kind of similar to play, it feels like they've got the same inputs and the same move timing and whatever, their animations are very different and they're really fun to watch. Like, Raziel definitely has a better... Raziel's moves really do fit the visual language that's been established for him as a character. So do Kain's. And so that is something I really, really appreciate. Good job, animators. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why they did that. All right, so in the cemetery here, we've got a full episode on this because it's a huge area and there's a lot to do. So one thing that we'll need to remember is that each of these areas we're going to have to come back to at some point, but not just for the story, because there's other items we can pick up too.
She says she won't go near the place.
I tell you, the pillars are haunted.
Haunted?
I heard a woman's voice talking and moaning, and there was no one there.
How many vampires have you killed? And you can't face down one ghost?
I knew who these were. Vampire hunters, scouring the countryside, destroying what had once been my kind.
My God, what is that? A vampire or a demon?
Where?
Here.
Get him!
Quickly! No mercy.
Okay, so that sounds like Alistair Duncan and BJ Ward as the voices of those vampire hunters. This is... Oh, let me get him. Nope. Alright, so that is an animation that I think is just awesome. Yeah, feeding the Reaver with Raziel is super cool. And then, he's got another cool animation. Oh, yes, I'm aware, thank you.
These were Mobius's hunters, mercenaries enlisted in his crusade to exterminate the vampires. His insignia was unmistakable. But this meant I'd been captive in the underworld for centuries. I had lost 500 years. Then I knew what ghost it was that haunted the pillars. Ariel, the specter of the murdered Balance Guardian. Perhaps she could provide the answers I sought. But first I would have to find a way out of this cemetery.
So, 500 years Raziel was trapped. Okay, come on, he was sulking. You were trapped by yourself, Raziel, come on. No, it's 500 years that he lost since the time of the Seraphan. And now we're in this collapsed ruined cemetery, which we kind of are starting to get a sense. It's kind of close to the pillars, but we don't exactly know where we are now. But we'll find out. Let's keep going. That's a big nope. So that's not going to let us in. All right, well, let's go look around. So we did see a pickup over here where
This temple's facade hinted at some ancient vampire origin, for it bore the sign of the Reaver and was marked with the elemental symbol of light. The mystery of the Reaver might be answered within, but this edifice was too high for me to reach.
What an edifice. That is one thing I really like about the Legacy of Kain subreddit, actually, where I spend a lot of time. One of the subreddit rules is don't be an edifice. All right, health upgrade there.
Another temple, this one marked with the elemental symbol of darkness. This edifice, like the other one, was too high for me to reach.
And in their context, it just means don't be a jerk. Be respectful and keep it on topic. Which are all rules I respect.
An ancient gate, sealed by the powers of light and darkness, barred the way to the pillars beyond. To depart this place and continue my journey, I would have to find the means to open it.
All right, well, looks like we are stuck here for the time being. The pillars are just over there yonder. Well, as much as I didn't want to go forge the Reaver again, it looks like that's going to be our life for now. One thing that I really do wonder, though, and this is, of course, gameplay mechanics requiring more from the lore than the lore is willing to give at the moment. But I really wonder, like, all of the Reaver enhancements that Raziel got in the last game, what happened to them? Lore-wise, did they dissipate? Did they dissipate when the Reaver began to feed on him? Did they dissipate when Raziel first picked up the Reaver? Did they all flow into the physical Reaver? Or did Raziel just sulk in the Spectral Realm too long and he lost all of his powers? I mean, I guess if anything, it would make sense if they had a 500-year expiration date, but...
Raziel, fallen hero, renegade and traitor.
What is this? How do you know me?
Raziel, what are you? Why should they know your name? You are nothing.
It seemed my method of entering the physical realm was not altogether original. But where had these beings come from?
Where indeed? Okay, so one thing I really like about playing Defiance before Blood Omen 2 is that we don't really know what these beings are. And there's going to be some hints, like see the shape of the soul there? Very interesting. So we'll just see what the game reveals to us. But these are human corpses being possessed by something. Could this be the diabolical day to which they were referring in Soul Reaver 2? We'll find out. And more cheesy announcer lines from your favorite TV show. Alright, we don't need to fight these guys, I don't think. Nope, we don't. Okay, so this is taking us back to where we first emerged. Yeah, so this is where we escaped last time. And now, we can swim down to this hole where the tome was last time. Oh, back to the blocks. Okay, there we go. Here's the thing that we need to pick up to open that door. Okay, other side. Please cooperate, camera. I've been very nice and haven't hardly said anything bad about you today. Yet. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. Nom nom nom. Okay. Actually, it's get in my belly. That's right. Om nom nom is for Kain. It's really interesting that these vines can exist in both the spectral and material realms at the same time. And we don't ever really see anything like them in any of the other games. Except possibly some of the twisted Dark Eden mutations in Blood Omen 1. But very, very loosely connected, if at all.
This edifice, marked with the elemental light symbol, was clearly much older than the ruins in the rest of the cemetery. The door was far too high to reach, and to open it, it seemed the Reaver would need to be imbued with the power of darkness. Clearly, I had more to accomplish before I could discover what lay within.
You sure about that? Something that is kind of nice is you don't have to be at all the way full health in order to shift. And by shift, I mean reach into the ground, pluck out a corpse, and inhabit it with your own body. Also, I have no idea how Raziel smelled before, but he does smell kind of bad now. I guess it just depends on how old the corpse is. If it's a dry, musty corpse, I mean, it's probably not going to be terrible, but if it's a freshie, ugh. Ugh. Perforate carcass. Okay, that's Raziel's fast one. So I've made several Devil May Cry comparisons in past videos talking about Defiance. But this particular move, other than the roll, I mean, you know, Dante does that like in the opening highlight reel of Devil May Cry. So it's like, it kind of wears its influences on its sleeve a little bit. Get in my sword's belly. Get in my sword's, my energy sword's non-existent belly. I don't know. I'm giving up on this one. Okay. Some things to do before we can get up there. So we'll see what's over here. And this is, of course, a variation on the music from Melchiah's area in Soul Reaver 1, the Necropolis. And one criticism that's of Defiance that's heard quite a bit, from myself included, is that not enough original music was created for Defiance. And, you know, on one hand, I agree with that, because there are a lot of the game really is just variations on music that we've heard before, or music that's been reused wholesale. But I don't really think Defiance gets enough credit for its overall sound design and the amount of work that went into that. I mean, I don't know how much time would have been left over to create more original music. Defiance still retains the sonic identity of Soul Reaver, which is great. And granted, I think, you know, everybody would have been happy with more original music. I know I would have been. Soul Reaver 2 came out in November of 2001, and Defiance came out just 2 years later. And so that's, oh, awesome, TK Rune. That is not a lot of time to get a full game done, especially one that's as different as Defiance is from Soul Reaver 2. So we want to get to Dark Forge, which is maybe over here. Nice. And Reaver spells are great for crowd control. Yeah, as much as I love Raziel's Reaver feeding as much as I love Kain's vampire in Defiance. How about that?
This is our world, little demon.
Okay, what else we got here? Well, I guess we'll jump up on this thing. And in Defiance, I'm always so hesitant to shift, right? Because it's like, I don't want to use up this corpse I just found. What if I can't find another one? But Defiance provides. Camera being as awkward as I am at parties. Okay, that animation with Raziel coming through the door, holding the Reaver out to the side a little bit, that's pretty cool. What's up here? Surprise, surprise, it's another fight. I guess these guys actually make sense here. Alright, what's this all about?
As I stepped through, I felt a sense of displacement, as some arcane sorcery transported me away. This was clearly some ancient ruin of a vampire civilization. Perhaps here I would finally decipher the riddle of my destiny. Throughout these ruins, I found murals depicting the seminal events of vampire history. These scenes commemorated a great war between the ancient vampires and their rivals. In triumph, they banished their adversaries from the world and raised the pillars as the lock that binds them. The image of the Reaver was inscribed throughout this place, always depicted with reverence. The vampire's holy weapon was destined to be borne by their prophesied hero, for whom it was forged. But if this was my destiny, why had the Reaver tried to consume me?
Okay, so now we've met my biggest issue with Defiance. Now, I don't mind doing exposition this way a few times. Soul Reaver 2 had a perfect balance, I thought. But this mode of exposition is repeated many, many times throughout Defiance, and this environment we're about to see is also repeated. And this is one of the biggest issues with the game, is just how repetitive this particular environment will feel. And then, as I've said before, its reliance on mural-based storytelling. And as my wife so succinctly put not too long ago, you can paint anything you want on a wall.
This scene depicted the appointment of the original vampire guardians, each summoned to serve when the pillars were raised. Each guardian is aligned to the principle of the pillar he serves, and the balance guardian is the axis of them all.
Down we go, I guess. That was a good meal there. Man, this place is just crawling with these guys. Followed me here. So I don't particularly love the Raziel's feeding animation when he's feeding from a distance, which I'll show you in just a second here. This thing feels a lot more goofy than he looked in Soul Reaper 1 and 2. If you haven't played Defiance, you have no idea how many times we're going to have to do this.
At last it was done. The Reaver was forged with darkness. As I felt this new power coursing within the Wraithblade, I knew that now the Light Temple would open to me.
So we're going to see the same mechanic a number of times. So get into the temple, forge the Reaver, solve the puzzle, and move on. Can we target, please? There we go. upgrade. And we want to check around really carefully and make sure that we have everything before we go up. Which we should. This first area is not very big. There we go. And that's a symbol that we did see once in Soul Reaver 2. On the bottom of the pillars. Peace out! The subterranean pillars is what I mean. Now here's something I actually really like about the Defiance Dark Reaver. Its spell turns you invisible. Gets you past those guys, but it is also really helpful in combat. And now comes the part that I'm a little sad about in Defiance because, you know, it makes it a little less interesting from a gameplay perspective, even if it is more convenient. To imbue the Reaver with a different element, push left or right. That's it. That's all there is to it. So, as you'll see later on, it makes sense, in a way, not to slow down the gameplay to try to find the element you need. But it was so perfectly tuned in Soul Reaver 2, that I'm a little sad to see that mechanic go with the fonts, or the environment, really. So now that we have the Dark Reaver, we can go and blind those other two Ravenhead things. Where we first got our smelly corpse body. They've got casters too. But again, we're just trying to get from point A to point B as much as possible here. As much as Mobius's vampire hunters have it coming, we've got stuff to do. And we don't need to fight these guys, so... Vanish! Ninja, vanish! Which, again, super cool. Love the silhouette there, and that you can see his eyes. It's really fun. Oh, there we go. I love that they freeze when you shift there. Feels so wasteful to just have to shift that soon after grabbing a body like that. Here's a fun.
Against all odds, I had stumbled into Kain's own mausoleum. This seemed an unlikely coincidence.
So yeah, that's where we are. And so this is the cemetery that's not far from Ziegsterl, where Kain was murdered originally. There's a portrait of nobleman Kain there. And there's some Futhark up there. What does it say? Let's get a better look. All right, I'm gonna go look that up. Here lies Kain. I don't know what I expected. Let's move on. Kain's family crest. So some of these items, I really would like to have some more flavor descriptions on it. I'd like to know more about Kain's family crest. Where did it come from? What does it look like? Get up here. So this is off the beaten path a little bit.
The Reaver did not seem to activate this orb. I had to find the means to enhance the blade further.
Okay, well, we'll remember that. We'll come back. Sounded vaguely threatening, didn't it? And they bust. Look that way, Kain. Man, it really seems like there must have been a lot of people who were sad that Kain died. Which is actually kind of surprising to me when I think about it, because Kain did not seem to be... He definitely came from privilege. You know, that much is obvious in his dialogue in Blood Omen 1. But it didn't seem to me that he was somebody that was super important. Rich, maybe. But it also seemed, given what was going on in Korhagen at the time, which the plague, it really seemed like he may have been completely... In Blood Omen 1, to me, it seemed like he had been mostly, or perhaps even completely dispossessed of his wealth, and maybe he was just trying to get out of Korhagen. That's something I would like to know more about, is... you know, A, why Kain had left Korhagen, and B, if he was ever planning to go back, maybe. I don't know. These are things I think about on my morning walks. go. Also, from a mechanical perspective, the blood pots make a lot more sense than soul pots. I mean, I know how you get blood in a pot. It's a relatively simple process. How do you get soul energy in a pot, though? Nope. We're back to this again. Okay, that was much less painful than last time. Oh, looks like I don't have to do that. See, wasted another perfectly good corpse. So that leads me to believe that there must be piles of bodies buried in these little tiny spaces where you find, are able to find corpses to shift into. Yes, thank you, tutorial. Very kind. Super cool. Okay, now I need a good angle to hit that from. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Let the sun in, which is something you don't hear me say very much.
Again, I experienced an odd sense of displacement as I was transported to the vampire ruin once more. But this chamber was different than the first.
Was it though?
In their defeat, the vampire's enemy retaliated with a terrible curse, afflicting the vampires with a bloodthirst that turned their once noble race into ravenous predators. This curse plunged the vampires into despair and apparently drove many to madness and self-annihilation. What was it that so devastated them that they were driven to suicide?
So yeah, the vampire's enemies who they banished inflicted a curse on the way out. Nice parting shot. And the vampirism appears to be, the effect of that. But what else? We'll find out. Another very familiar symbol there. And okay. Alright, anything up on this upper level? Okay, we'll remember this guy. It's not exactly what I wanted to do, but here we are. Oh, nice. And that is this. So another mid-air option. Well, a mid-air option for us. Oh hey, check it out. There's a tome.
I had succeeded. The Reaver was forged with the power of light, and now my way was clear. I would seek out Ariel at the pillars and see if she could enlighten me.
Except, now we've got a new friend. Looks kind of familiar, doesn't he? Alright, so these are golems, and they are kind of a pain. But the funny thing is, I would say, as long as you've got your dodge, attack, and punish cadence down, they're not that bad. But if you get... Okay, I spoke too soon. But... when you get more of them in the same place when you're fighting, they actually become easier, I think. I'll show you that when we get there. All right, we'll check this room last. Soul pots. No idea how or why they're here, but I'm glad they are. There we go. Does that mean we're done here? Not quite. So we've got to enlighten these dark orbs that we see in order to activate that gate. Easy enough.
I have the means to depart the cemetery. I only needed to find the gate that would send me on my way.
All right, so we've got the light and the dark reaver, and now we're gonna fight some cannon fodder for some arbitrary reason. that's actually fine. But now, we're going to go back to Kain's tomb. Okay, well, I thought we could get back up that way, but it turns out we can't. So we'll go this way. And it's going to be kind of a long way back around, but if we want to get all the items, that's what we got to do. And there's nothing saying that we have to stop and fight this church, so we'll just go. Again, a bit of a long trip. But one thing that I really like about Defiance is that it is very heavy on its Blood Omen 1 connections. And I really enjoy that because at the time, you know, we'd had a lot, you know, from Soul Reaver, which of course built on Blood Omen 1 in its own way. And then of course Soul Reaver 2 built on that more. It's not to say that the other games didn't build on Blood Omen 1 and constantly refer to Blood Omen 1, but I love the way that Defiance does it, because it's taking place now in the same era as Blood Omen 1, and we're now visiting some of the same locations. For instance, the cemetery, as we said before here, is, this is, you know, we can see the pillars very easily from the cemetery here. And oops. There we go. TK upgrade. Okay, so there's that pickup. Now there was another door with an orb like that near to the where we first emerged from the otherworld. So we will go back there. And we'll get incredibly confused by landing on a cut point. Oh, that's a one-way. Okay, never mind. One thing I do like about this track is it is very chill in its own way, you know? And I've never been one to mind a chill time in the cemetery. Now these guys are making it very not chill, just for that. There, okay. I've vented my wrath enough for now. Now, gotta go down this way. Just ignore the stupid humans. This thing is a health upgrade. Excellent. Okay. So if you've been following along with me, you should have, we're going to go look. You should have 3 health talismans, 2 TK runes, and 3 arcane tomes. Once you have that, we're ready to move on from the cemetery. Even though we were having such a fun chill time. Other than, you know, being attacked by vampire hunters and these possessed human corpses. Other than that. I'll save really quick. We haven't done that in a bit. All right. Put out the dark. And put out the light.
At last, the gate yielded to the powers of light and darkness with which the Reaver had been forged. The way to the pillars was open.
Finally. All right, let's move on. All right, we've escaped from the cemetery and we're on our way to the pillars. But first, we'll visit the pillars 500 years ago with Kain. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you see and you want to see more, do the things.
Wow.